good to have you with us in the second edition of the Urban Debate tonight. One more time, we will put the spotlight on Bihar politics, but we're not going to restrict it to that. As the conversation proceeds, we will talk about larger national politics as well, basis what has happened in Bihar. Today, Nitish Kumar was actually sworn in as the Chief Minister for the seventh time, fourth time elected as the Chief Minister. Along with him, his new cabinet also took oath. Notably there, you had Tarkishore Prasad, who is the Bihar Deputy Chief Minister now, along with Nitish. You also have Renu Devi, who is the other Bihar Deputy Chief Minister, supporting right now Nitish instead of Sushil Modi. We also have Mangal Pandey of the BJP, who's taken oath today. We saw Sheila Kumari of the JDU, contested polls for the first time, is now a minister in Nitish's cabinet. Santosh Suman is the son of Jitan Ram Manjhi. So this is that one seat, one ministerial berth that the HAM has got. We also saw Mukesh Saini, lost his seat in Bakhtiarpur, but of course his party has delivered for the NDA, and as a result of that, he is too now part of Nitish's cabinet. So the first part of our conversation really is going to be about new team Nitish and what it really means for Bihar. What does it mean for Nitish Kumar? What does it really mean for Sushil Modi? Where is he headed now? What about the party that boycotted the oath-taking ceremony, which is the RJD, which is still crying foul? But in the second half, we are going to talk about Congress, where Congress's own leaders are trying to again send an SOS and question their leadership. The Congress's allies are now blaming this grand old party for their losses. The Congress's strike rate in state after state where it has joined hands with other political parties has been abysmal and has only spelled doom for their ally partners. So that's going to be the second part of our conversation. But first up, let's say good evening to Radhika Ramaseshan, consulting editor for Business Standard, joining us this evening. Ajay Kumar, editor for Prabhat Khabar, also with us this evening. Sudesh Verma of the BJP joining me right now. But let me go across to Mr. Ajay first. And Ajay Kumar, for our viewers to understand this new Nitish cabinet, how would you describe it?
देखिए, दो तीन चीजें हुई हैं. पहला कि बिहार में 2 डिप्टी सीएम आए, इसका मतलब क्या है. दूसरी बात कि जो बीजेपी की ओर से, बीजेपी के कोटे से जो मंत्री बनाए गए हैं, उनको आप देखें, उनका जो सोशल एक जो समीकरण है, सामाजिक समीकरण, तो आप देखेंगे कि ये पूरी प्लानिंग आगे की है. आगे आने वाले चुनावों में कैसे बीजेपी और अपने आप को स्ट्रॉन्ग करे, इसको कहीं ना कहीं बीजेपी ने सेंटर में रखा है अपने पूरे पॉलिटिक्स को, कि हमको कैसे पेनिट्रेट करना है बिहार के समाज में, बिहार की जातियों को अपनी ओर कैसे अपने फोल्ड में लाना है. ये पूरा आप इसमें देखेंगे. दूसरी बात कि जो पुराने बीजेपी के लोग थे, मतलब जो नीतीश कुमार के साथ 2005 से थे मंत्री, उनके कैबिनेट में थे, उनको जगह नहीं मिली है. नंद किशोर यादव अभी स्पीकर बनेंगे. उस दिन के डिबेट में हमने कहा था कि बीजेपी जरूर चाहेगी कि वो स्पीकर का पोस्ट उसके पास आए, और अल्टीमेटली वही हुआ. दूसरा, विनोद नारायण झा सीनियर मंत्री थे, उनको भी अभी इस आज के ओथ सेरेमनी में जगह नहीं मिली है. और तो मुझे लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं ये पूरा जो बीजेपी की भूमिका, बीजेपी का प्रभाव कहीं ना कहीं इसमें बढ़ा है. जी,
तो आप ये कह रहे हैं कि अगर हम नंबर ऑफ सीट्स में देखें तो मतलब बीजेपी और जेडीयू में ज़्यादा अंतर नहीं है मिनिस्टेरियल बर्थ्स में, बट देयर इज़ अ लार्जर स्टैम्प ऑफ द बीजेपी ऑन द सिलेक्शन ऑफ दीज मिनिस्टर्स.
नहीं, आप ये देखिए कि नंबर ऑफ, ठीक है, ज़्यादा नहीं है, लेकिन 7 मंत्री हैं. आप अब तक क्या होता रहा है, अब तक होता था नीतीश कुमार बिग ब्रदर रहेंगे, उनकी पार्टी बिग ब्रदर के रोल में होगी. लेकिन बीजेपी अभी स्पीकर का पोस्ट काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण होगा. आप पॉलिटिकल पूरा डायमेंशन को देखें तो स्पीकर का पद बीजेपी ने लेके एक तरह से बहुत सारी चीजें अपने पास कर ली है. तो कहीं ना कहीं पूरा गेम प्लान है बीजेपी का कि आने वाले सालों में बिहार में अपनी भूमिका को और कैसे बढ़ाएं और बिहार में वो एक नंबर की पार्टी कैसे बने.
Okay, Radhika Ramaseshan, let me bring you in here as well, on this and your own reading of it. Nitish Kumar said he's going to miss Sushil Modi. When he was asked that question, he has now two new deputy chief ministers. Is that just an example of, the tough task that's been cut out for him this time?
Yeah, actually, yes. I mean, if someone were to write a book on the political jodis of India, surely Nitish and Sushil Modi would find a place in it. I mean, Sushil Modi was known as the Setu, the bridge between Nitish Kumar and the BJP. Of course, Nitish Kumar had other friends in the BJP like Arun Jaitley, Sushma Swaraj, K.N. Govindacharya in the old days. Advani was close to him. Now, if you go through the list, there is not a single person who Nitish can call a friend in the BJP. Obviously, Narendra Modi and Amit Shah are going to call the shots from Delhi. He must have known J.P. Nadda because J.P. Nadda was a student in Patna University, younger than Nitish, of course, much younger than Nitish. But he would have had some association with J.P. Nadda. But it's not on a par with the kind of rapport he shared with Sushil Modi. I mean, if you think of the NDA government in Bihar, you will think of Nitish and you will think of Sushil Modi. They were inseparables. So he has to deal with an entirely new lot of ministers from the BJP, as the panelist said. So he's got his task cut out. And the BJP has very astutely kept the speaker's post with it because this is not going to be a very stable coalition as far as I can see. Of course, Nitish has become the chief minister. He would want to be in the chief minister's post for some time. But let me also tell you one thing. Nitish is not the kind who will take any kind of needling by an ally for too long. Knowing Nitish, he's not the kind.
Okay, you've
BJP
actually
will have to be very wary of the kind of steps it takes. If it becomes too dominant, too much of a big brother, then I do not see Nitish taking that kind of attitude for too long. So therefore, it's a rather unstable coalition as far as I can see this time. Now, had Sushil Modi been there, his presence would have made all the difference. But he is not there. So it's going to, who is Nitish going to deal with in the BJP? By now, he must have established a working relationship with Bhupender Yadav, who's going to be continues to be the Prabhari for Bihar. But in politics, it's not about working relationships. There is something called chemistry, which the top bosses, the top leaders have to share if it is a coalition government. That has gone missing in this order completely. So I don't know how it is going to really shape up henceforth. Yeah.
You've raised a very interesting point, and I want to go back to Mr. Ajay Kumar on that in just a bit. But let's bring in Sudesh Verma as well. Good evening to you, Mr. Verma. You heard what our two journalists had to say about the new cabinet and the choice of candidates. Explain to us how BJP sees it, the fact that there is no more Sushil Modi, but two deputy chief ministers, which never happened before.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. I don't know, due to problem in the voice, I could not listen to what Radhika had to say and Ajay had to say. But I'll give you our perspective on ministry formation. You see, BJP is a party where no individual can say that it is his party or her party. Every person, every individual, party workers would feel it is his party or her party. So they must have the openings there. They must have representation. And you can see that representation has been given to even those people who probably never thought that they would be there in the government. So that is the criteria, that BJP is a party which is accessible to everyone. Everyone can go to the top, and this avenue is not stopped by anyone. It's not a party that runs on one family or certain individuals. Everybody decides together, and representation needs to be given. And long back, I remember that during the time of Govindacharya, social engineering was done that brought Kalyan Singh, that brought Babulal Marandi, that brought Uma Bharti ji. So BJP, long time back, 20 years back, jettisoned that image of being a Brahmin Baniya party that used to be the criticism in the media. So it's a party that assimilates every section of society. and Bihar's complexion will be reflected in this government, and the government has to perform as per the mandate, and that is why you have two deputy chief ministers. They would be having their own responsibility also, so that they actually implement the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Because now we have no excuse. There is a double engine sarkar actually. Nitish ji is there, Modi ji is supporting from here. His vision needs to be translated into a reality in the field, and we are on test actually. So everybody has to work together. They have got their representation. There will be, when the expansion takes place, more and more people who may be thinking that they have been left out, they would get a chance. And a lot of media speculation about Sushil Modi ji. Before you ask me this question, I must tell you that he has been a very, very senior leader, has dominated political scenario in Bihar for a very long time. And of course, such people always have a very important role to play. But your role changes. The leadership always decides, and they must have decided on the role he has to play, whether at the national level or at the state level. So you see that everybody accepts, any decision is taken, everybody is taken into confidence, and how democracy needs to run, how in a party, that is the thing other people should learn.
Yes, and of course you preempted correctly, because you have a lot of experience, not just as a political guest, but also as a journalist, Mr. Sudesh Verma. But because I was going to ask you, couldn't Sushil Modi also implement Prime Minister's vision in Bihar, just like the two new deputies would do? But okay, I take your point. Let me actually go back to Mr. Ajay on the issue that Radhika raised. And Ajay Kumar, do you believe that this coalition will be unstable? Would it, and who would you think would move first? Would it be Nitish, who gets frustrated being the, with limited in that just a small part of the government, or would it actually be BJP first that moves to strengthen its own position?
देखिए, सरकार जिस हिसाब से बनी है, जो पूरा बॉडी लैंग्वेज है, आप देखेंगे नीतीश कुमार का, इवन जेडीयू के नेताओं का भी, तो वो आप 2005 देखिए, 2010 देखिए, 2015 में तो लालू प्रसाद के साथ ही वो आए थे, लेकिन उसके बाद भी जब वो कोalition टूटा था और बीजेपी के साथ ये आए थे, तब भी आप देखेंगे तो एक जो धमक थी नीतीश कुमार की, मुझे लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं वो स्थिति, वो पोजीशन उनकी कमजोर हुई है इसमें। और बीजेपी के सामने बिल्कुल वो बिहार कैसे 2025 में, 2024 में लोकसभा के चुनाव है, और कैसे हम ज्यादा से ज्यादा सीटें हासिल करें, मुझे लगता है कि पूरी स्ट्रेटेजी अभी से ये शुरू हो चुकी है। और ये मुझे लगता है कि जो सोशल इंजीनियरिंग की बात है, जो 90 और 80 के दशक में गोविंदाचार्य यहाँ बिहार और झारखंड में आके काम कर रहे थे, तो मुझे लगता है कि उसको अभी जाके इसको करेक्ट किया है बीजेपी ने अपने हिसाब से, कि कैसे ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों को, जैसे अब आप देखें कि जो ईबीसी और पिछड़ी जातियों को जो डिप्टी सीएम बनाए गए, आप देखेंगे 30% से ज्यादा ईबीसी की आबादी है बिहार में। और पूरा नीतीश कुमार का फोकस रहा है। 2005 में आने के बाद सबसे पहला काम उन्होंने क्या किया, पंचायतों में रिजर्वेशन दिया, महिलाओं के लिए रिजर्वेशन दिया, और इससे सबसे ज्यादा जो फायदा हुआ है वो ईबीसी की जातियों को हुआ है। तो मुझे लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं जो ये एक उनका आधार था, नीतीश कुमार ने जो अपना एक सोशल बेस बनाया था, उसको बीजेपी अब अपने साथ लाने की कोशिश कर रही है। जी।
Radhika Ramaseshan, your view on that?
You're asking me?
Yes. So the question that I asked, that is it possible that BJP actually moves faster than Nitish does to strengthen their own position, probably pull a few of the MLAs from the other side to increase their numbers?
You're asking me, right?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, Radhika, the question to you.
No. I think you got me slightly wrong. I'm not suggesting that the BJP is going to pull down the government or anything of that kind. BJP will move circumspectly to start with. So will Nitish. But, there will be subtle kinds of pulls and pressures. And we really have to see to what extent Nitish is able to take that. Okay, that is point number one. And Mr. Ajay made a very relevant point about BJP wanting to expand its own social base. Fair enough. Every party will do that. Every vibrant, active party will do it. And BJP is certainly one of them. Nitish showed the way with as far as the EBCs and the Mahadalits are concerned. And I didn't travel to Bihar this time. I don't really have data or evidence to show in what percentage the EBCs and Mahadalits voted for BJP. It's a fair surmise that they must have voted in pretty large numbers. I mean, because they were categorized as the silent voters. Now, the thing about BJP is the moment it gets an opening, since I've covered the party for very, very long years, the moment it gets an opening through an alliance, it leverages its status very well. I mean, the way the BJP strategizes, the way the BJP micromanages, I have not seen any other party doing it to the extent that the BJP does. In most states, they are very unsuccessful in a state like Tamil Nadu, again in Orissa, they're there, but not quite there, and West Bengal is going to be a big test case for the BJP. But in Bihar, they are going to leverage their status as the pole party to their advantage. And that means, bringing the OBCs, the EBCs, sorry, let me make a distinction, the EBCs and the Mahadalits to their side for a big accretion of votes. Because BJP, I mean, ever since Govindacharya started his social engineering, the BJP has moved far beyond its Bhumiyar Baniya base. I mean, okay, the upper castes do vote still. I mean, instinctively they will vote the BJP in an election. But the BJP has transcended that the Bhumiyar Brahmin Baniya image long ago, both in Uttar Pradesh and in Bihar. And this election is going to foster that whole project, take the whole project far ahead, so that by the time the Lok Sabha elections come, the BJP builds on its pole position and is in a position to win a majority of the seats in Bihar on its own. Bihar is one of the largest states, so the BJP has invested wisely and well in the state, so it would want to capitalize on the gains.
You're absolutely right. In fact, that's what I was, alluding to or hinting at. Not to say that you meant that they're going to try and destabilize their own government. So I completely am, 100% on board with what you just pointed out here, Radhika Ramaseshan. Let me move on to the second big talking point that has emerged out of the Bihar elections and the Bihar results, and that's, of course, what we more often than not see these days, in the last few years, when it comes to state election results, is the kind of criticism and backlash that the Congress party witnesses, often internally, of course from the BJP, and now more frequently from their allies as well. So let me tell you what RJD leader Shivanand Tiwari had to say today. Not the first one, but this is the most recent one. Rahul Gandhi was picnicking during elections. Is this a way to run the party? Rahul only campaigned for 3 days. Prime Minister, who is older, held more number of rallies. Congress asked for 70 seats, didn't even hold 70 meetings. Let me also tell you what two of the leaders from within the Congress party really had to say. Karti Chidambaram said, it is time we introspect, ideate, consult and act. And Kapil Sibal, who's been very vocal in the post the last few election results, Congress leadership thinks it should be business as usual. We are yet to hear on recent polls. People no longer see Congress as effective alternative. No introspection for 6 years. What to expect now? So everybody, right from former US President Barack Obama, all the way to its own allies and its own leaders, there is a big question mark on the Congress leadership and Rahul Gandhi. What's to become of Congress party and its equation with its allies is the big question. Let's also bring into this conversation Dinesh Varshney, leader of the CPI, and Supriya Srinath, national spokesperson for the Congress party. I'll also shortly have RJD representative on the panel. But Supriya Srinath, has there at least internally been a message from the top leadership post the Bihar results? We haven't heard much so far, like Kapil Sibal says, publicly, externally.
So 2 quick comments on something that you were alluding to before I joined in, and you were talking about Mr. Obama's book. I'm glad you did, because I think selective reading and half-truths are very dangerous. Read the whole chapter on India from 600 to 600 in page number 603. And you will see he also calls Mr. Rahul Gandhi smart and earnest. Two words that can never be used for my opponents and especially for the Prime Minister, with all due respect. So selective quoting and selective things should be left for the BJP troll army to do, not for responsible journalists like you. The second thing that you talk about, Shivanand Tiwari's statement, that statement has been rejected and denied from an official position by the RJD, who have said we have coordinated, we had synergy. Let us also remember, and this is not blame game, but let us also remember this is how coalitions work. There were 30 seats there, which were absolute NDA strongholds, which were never won by the RJD or the Congress. We still chose to put our candidates and fight the fight. Could we have done better? Should we have done better? Absolutely, without a doubt. Have we learned our lessons? Absolutely, we have. Nobody likes to lose. Are there issues we have with this election? Absolutely, you do. 10 seats, there's still a controversy, local administration and all that. That set aside, still believe, okay, they are the winners, they have formed the government. We are going to wait and watch. We will be a strong and a responsible opposition, and we will continue to raise the issues that matter, because elections may come and go, electoral verdicts may not be in our favor, but the issues that we raise are very moot and important issues. Is the Congress party introspecting? Absolutely we are. To Mr. Kapil Sibbal's statement that you alluded to, I have no problems with the statement. He's a senior member of the party. He's a very senior lawyer. I respect him as an individual. I've known him for many, many years. But the reality also is that everybody needs to put their hands on the deck and rebuild the party, energize the cadres, work on the organization level. And most importantly, the Central Election Authority of the Congress party has been working very hard to have that AICC session organized. Madhusudan Mistry is the head of that Central Election Authority, and he's been working hard with the PCCs to organize the AICC session, which we will very soon. We don't want to discuss what we are doing internally on a public platform like this.
Okay, no, as long as Kapil Sibbal and Karthi Chidambaram know about it, the rest of it is fine, which is why I began by asking you if you've been briefed by your leadership post the election results. Now, since you did quote from the book, even though I hadn't, let me put out some of the other quotes as well of what has been reported by the New York Times, and they have quoted this from the book itself. Barack Obama saying on Rahul Gandhi, there's a nervous, unformed quality about Rahul, as if Rahul were a student who had done coursework. Rahul was eager to impress the teacher, lacked either aptitude or passion to master the subject. I will also say this was a long time ago, this impression that he made. We don't know if this is if he would have the same view of Rahul Gandhi had he to meet him. Nevertheless, that's not the point. So, Priya, before I move on, I did want to ask you, since you mentioned re-energizing the party for which all hands on deck, what part of that and how much of that did happen in Bihar election?
I think a lot of it happened. I mean, elections are won and lost, all right. But look at the final tally. The vote difference between the Mahagathbandhan and the NDA eventually was only 12,000 votes. So to say that the Congress did nothing, I mean, we would have obviously wanted to win more than 19 seats, but to think we did, a lot of our votes got transferred to the RJD, just like their votes got transferred to us. That's how coalitions work. We were not out to cannibalize each other. That is how coalitions work. I mean, should we work harder? Absolutely, we must. And considering you are quoting Mr. Obama previously on the show, let me say he also talks about divisionary nationalism. A lot of what we see is also alluding to leaders fanning religious passion. Who is he referring to? It is for anybody to guess, not for me to quote. But all said and done, have we learned our lessons? Yes, we have. Will you see the changes? Yes, you will.
Okay, let me bring in Dinesh Varshney. Dinesh Varshney, good evening to you. Now, I just want to make it clear that on the day of the election results and a day after that, we had conversations where I was genuinely actually surprised to see that we had the left representative and the Congress and the RJD all seemingly blaming each other. That night, the Congress repeatedly kept saying, well, we were given the tougher seats where BJP had a stronghold, which is why we were not able to do better. Atul Anjan, who was there with us, Mr. Dinesh Varshney that day, said that, well, had we been given more seats, we would have got you the victory. But you didn't. You gave us lesser seats, and look where it is. And the RJD is still blaming the Congress party. Is that fair, Mr. Dinesh Varshney? Should there be a blame game? Shouldn't you together accept this loss instead of blaming your own allies?
Look, Naitanvi, look, I agree with Supriya in this matter of how the alliances functions, Mahagathbandhan functions. Let me tell you, we have an opinion, left parties have an opinion. We were demanding 50 seats. if we could have been given 50 seats by the Mahagathbandhan, we could have definitely strike around 35 seats because our strike rate is one of the best in the Bihar election at present. Number two, those who say that we have lost it, we have not lost it. I openly say that Election Commission is unfair. Election Commission is not fair. The opposition candidate, the Mahagathbandhan candidate polling agents were not allowed to have the passes of the counting passes till 12:30. Only after the press conference of the Election Commission during the pandemic pretext, they did not allow it and they opened the EVM without the candidate of the Mahagathbandhan present there. 11 seats are definitely and 14 seats the selective manipulation of the EVM.
So when are you
I
going to
still
court?
say to the world, give me any expert of the world. Give me any expert of the world who says that every digital equipment is unhackable. Every digital equipment of the world is hackable. I am a professor and I am saying with responsibility, talking to hundreds of the electronic and electrical experts.
Mr. Varshney,
Hundreds of the world,
Mr.
not one or
Varshney,
two. As
much
and when
as-
you
as
want, you can
I
have
would
them.
like to,
Number two,
Mr. Varshney,
last point.
No, 1 minute, please. I just want to make this clear. Let's not go down the road where you don't have evidence right now to back it. And if you do, you can go to court. Mr. Varshney, we've had far too many conversations in the last few years where this attempt is made to implant a seed of doubt in the minds of people, and honestly let the Americans do it if they want to do it to their own people. Let's not go down that road in our kind of a democracy. If you have the evidence, please prove it. There is no point in you openly saying it. It doesn't matter except that it impacts the minds of people and makes them question the system.
But Tanvi, if I may come in for 5 seconds there.
I will come back to you. I will come back to you,
proofs
Supriya,
have been
because I
given.
interrupted Dinesh Varshney. Let him finish the rest of his point.
As far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned, as far as Congress is concerned, Tanvi, let me tell you, and I am saying with full responsibility of the CPI as well as left leader, any wrong with the Congress in this country will harm the democratic functioning of the country. Congress is the only party at present all India level, other than the left party, CPI and CPM, which can fight against the communal canard of the BJP and the RSS. That is why they are trying to tarnish the image of Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi. They talk of family, family, family. I would ask any BJP leader, please show the sacrifice of that much of that family, which Nehru family has done. Any leader of the BJP since independence struggle till today, I would like to have the names. I would like to have the names. They have never been nationalist. They have never fought for the development of the country. They have fought for the monopoly development. They have fought for the extremely giving benefits to those monopoly friends, those who are favoring them. I can challenge them. They can come for any open debate. And economic parameters of the country are showing that. Whether you see the Reserve Bank data or whether you see the CMI
okay,
data
I will have
You cannot
BJP
challenge because
respond
they are
to that.
contradicted
But
by
let me
each
say it
other.
is a little amusing to see a left ideology party defend any kind of dynasty politics. I just want to just put it out there and let Sudesh Verma respond to the rest of it.
It is not a dynasty. That's a political family. That's a political family. No, that's a political family.
Sudesh Verma.
Tanvi, Supriya has a tough competition now in Dinesh Varshney, because if left is going to become a spokesperson for the Congress, God bless this country. You see, you have been dishing out all lies, lies about communism. Lies
You are afraid with the left more than the Congress. But
I did not interrupt you,
why are
Dinesh
you
Varshney
damaging the
ji.
image of the
Kindly
capitalist?
listen to what I have
know,
to say.
Suresh ji.
Kindly listen to what I have to say. You see, you have been fooling people that one day communism will come. It has never come, and you have been voted out of power. You have compromised with casteist and communal groups to just win a few seats in Bihar. Your ideology has gone for a toss now. So you have to become the BT of the Congress and defend them on such debates.
What have you done in Nagaland? What have you done in Nagaland? What have you done going with the government with PDP?
One at a time, please.
I'm asking you.
Why
No,
you are
what
so
is
One
your
at a
example
time.
of
Why you
Nagaland?
are so intolerant?
Miss-
This, what
one
is
at
this
a
over
time.
the
Let's
top?
talk about Bihar
Is this the way?
first,
Is this the way you
and then
debate?
we'll talk about other states.
Left
Yes, one at
people
a
are
time.
supposed to be good debaters.
Sudesh.
You see, don't try to break my chain of thoughts. You see, now you have to defend the Congress because you know that you have got a shoulder to latch on to, because you say that the Congress is the national party. We would also like the Congress to be strong, irrespective of whether Obama ji has said that. We always said that Rahul Gandhi needs to gain political maturity. He's learning all the time.
You are quoting
At times
Obama
he will say,
selectively.
oh yeah, what is your problem? Are you anchor? Don't interrupt me like this. Rahul Gandhi ji will at times say it's a beehive. Actually, the Congress is a beehive where everybody is a bee.
Arey, you
trying to
people are
protect the
masters
queen
of
bee.
lie. Your lie has
I'm
to
not
be
saying who the
contradicted
queen
on
bee
the
is.
spot. That's a
Queen bee
problem.
could be any leader.
That's a problem.
Listen, my
You
dear
people
debater,
lie. You
my
people
dear
lie.
professor,
You are bigger
why you are so
jumlebar.
intolerant? Why you are so intolerant? I can also shout at
Your
you.
lies
Please
have to
listen
be contradicted on the
Listen
spot.
to me. You have done well in Gujarat. You have done well in Bihar, riding on the shoulder of Tejasvi and the Congress. Please have some patience. Now coming to Rahul Gandhi ji has always been learning. You see the
Okay.
kind of immaturity he has shown.
Yes.
Tanvi, in Parliament, you remember that incident where he goes and hugs the Prime Minister with all sincerity, then comes and winks at his own people as if he has done a great
No,
thing.
but
So such
I don't want to
immature
talk
people-
about what
I'm
happened
not taking
earlier.
seriously.
Let's talk about what happened now, which is that we didn't
I
see
please
much of
come in?
Rahul Gandhi campaign, and we haven't seen the Congress leadership post the results. Supriya Srinit wants to come before I go across to our journalist. Yes, go ahead, please.
I mean, I don't find what is funny about this whole thing that Mr. Sudesh Verma is laughing, but that said, he's
Very
entitled
funny,
to his
two of you
selective
joining
opinion.
hands on the screen.
I did not speak while you were speaking, sir, and I think
No,
you should
because-
extend me the same courtesy. We may have
you
not
attacked
debated
me, no?
together.
That is what I'm saying.
Okay, now, have you spoken now? Because if you have finished, then I will start. I don't like to
Yes,
interrupt.
yes,
I did never
I'm
said a
learning from
word.
All right. Yes, Supriya, go ahead, please.
Then please keep quiet. Show the courtesy that should be shown to opponents. I am going to quote 5 or 6 names. Please tell me what is common between them. Piyush Goyal, Ravi Shankar Prasad, Jayant Sinha, Rajveer Singh, Pankaj Singh, Vijay Bahuguna, Rita Bahuguna, Basundhara Raje, Anurag Thakur, Jay Shah, Abhishek Singh, Brij Bhushan Singh, Dilip Singh, Pankaja Munde, Poonam Mahajan, Sahib Singh Verma, Chirag Paswan, Sukhbir Badal, the Sena till now. Till you are with the BJP, even if you're a dynast, you are not a dynast. They will keep throwing allegations at you if you become their political opponent. So today, Sena is untouchable. Today, the Badals are untouchable. But if you are with them, Kalyan Singh was a governor, his son is a minister, his grandson is an MLA. And this is replete with examples. I quoted some dynasts of the BJP. You are not holier than thou. Stop riding on this fake bogey of dynastic politics that you keep talking about, because the reality is we do not give you the right to choose our leaders. We are pointing some names in your direction. They're all dynasts. You have nothing to say on that. You talk about Rahul Gandhi being immature. If he is so immature and if he is so inconsequential, why is it that your entire government, your entire party, your entire troll army gets so flustered when he raises questions? Because the truth and reality is that he is the only one who makes you nervous by putting you in
Very
the
good.
dock and asking you questions that are of national importance, whether it is joblessness, whether it is economic ruin, whether it is Chinese incursion, whether it's your failure. On every front, he's the only one who corners you and makes you nervous. So keep quiet, run the country
Okay.
the way you are.
Okay, so the
And stop
dynasty
driving us
debate
to
being
the
done
narrative
here.
of troll army.
The dynasty
Can
debate
we
being
ask
done
me
here.
question?
Let's
I'll have
come
to
back to
respond.
the
I can
larger
reply.
conversation
Can
we
I
were going to
reply?
have. Let's
Let's
come back to the larger conversation we want to
Report
have,
straight.
which is the future for the Congress party and its allies. Every time, we see results like this, there is within the Congress party leaders who speak up. The last time, though, there were a series of Cong leadership meetings that took place. There was a promise of a change, committees set up. But what we have seen in Bihar hasn't really... Radhika Ramaseshan, was there a visible difference? And will this become a challenge for the Congress party as they head into elections in West Bengal, Assam, and even Tamil Nadu?
Look, there are no two ways about admitting that the Congress's performance in Bihar has been below par. No matter how hard Supriya tries to defend. Anyway, it's her job as the spokesperson. They got 70 seats, which is a huge number. And this business about them being given patently losing seats is it's a fallacious argument. because no seat is a winning seat or a losing seat when a party goes into an election. You have to make a proper fight out of it, and you have to fight to win the party. You can't expect Raibarelis and Wayanad's to come your way all the time. So I think the Congress has somehow lost the fire in the belly. It was quite content to let the RJD spearhead the whole campaign, spearhead electioneering, lead the fight, taken a back seat. In contrast, I have to say that the left parties put their best foot forward, and that is reflected in their strike rate, especially that of the ML Liberation. And it's not a one-off thing that they've done just for this election. The ML Liberation for sure has been on the ground, working among the disempowered sections, the underempowered sections for very long. And that has really translated into votes for them. I mean, the left party's performance is the highlight, one of the highlights of this election. I have to say that. Now, as far as Chintan, Manthan, introspection is concerned, let me tell you, even the BJP doesn't do any of it. I mean, they lost very badly in Jharkhand. Was there any Chintan Manthan after that? There was a time when the BJP used to hold Chintan Baithaks regularly. That's a thing of the past. Anyway, they've generally been on a roll as far as elections are concerned. Then lastly, you asked me about the future of the Congress. Now, you have a slew of elections coming up. Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, very important, big states. Assam, and as far as I can see, the Congress is not in power. Puducherry, of course, there is a Congress government in Puducherry, so it has to defend its territory in Puducherry. Now, in Tamil Nadu, it is part of the DMK-led alliance. Last time, Stalin again gave them a good number of seats.
Correct.
They were not able to win too many. In fact, they lost most of them. And, then as in Bihar, the DMK privately blamed the Congress for pulling down the alliance. It was an unprecedented verdict, last time. Actually, Tamil Nadu never returns an incumbent government. It's been happening for decades now. But Jayalalitha came back, So that was only because had the Congress given it some heft to the alliance, the DMK would have made it. So therefore, I'm wondering if Stalin will give the same number of seats to the Congress? I think not.
Yes,
then you have Bengal. Is the Congress going with the left? Would the left want the Congress as an ally? That's the more pertinent question. And then in Assam, it looks like the Congress wants to tie up with Maulana Badruddin Ajmal's, United Democratic Front. Again, I'm sure all these questions are going through Badruddin Ajmal's head, whether it's worth having the Congress as an ally or not. Because the moot question is, what does the Congress bring to the table at the end of it all? Now, if you are talking about, let me specifically focus on Assam. The Congress did have the Ahom votes in the Brahmaputra Valley, good section, because it is led by Tarun Gogoi, who's very popular in the Brahmaputra Valley. But now we have this BJP, and the moment the Congress and the UDF tie together, this whole business of Muslim is going to start, and that is going to lead to a polarization of votes.
Right.
So, it's on the razor's edge, actually, the Congress. And the Congress has to make up its mind what can it do to enhance its own winnability, its own value, so that the allies take it seriously. Because we are in an era of coalitions. The opposition has to build a coalition now or before 2024. And the Congress being the national party, I mean, it still has its flags all over the country, it's kind of cut out to be the spearhead of this coalition. But, it has to augment its strength before it can do that. And I don't see the Congress doing that.
And the big question is also, Radhika Ramaseshan, like you said, and you very, nicely put across the challenges in each of the other states that are going to election is the Congress party ready for it? Their challenger BJP has been working and doing their groundwork in these states for a while now. that so is the TMC and so is the DMK. Is the Congress party anywhere even planning what their strategy needs to be for West Bengal, Assam or Tamil Nadu or even Kerala? Sudesh, I know you want to make a point, but let me also say good evening to Sarika Kumari and quick comment from Ajay Kumar as well on this. Ajay Kumar, first to you. Is it fair for one RJD to blame the Congress party, the leader to slam the Congress party for the losses?
They have officially denied that. Please take that into consideration, Tanvi. I made that clarification. You're not even taking that into consideration. The RJD has officially denied that statement and distanced itself from Shivanand Tiwari. If you're not going to take it, then why have this debate?
Okay.
I state the official position of the RJD.
And what about Kapil Sibal?
Kapil Sibal is not RJD, he's the Congress. What did I start
Correct.
off by saying? That he's raised some points that should be taken into consideration, and the Central Election Authority of the Congress is already working on an AICC session.
Okay.
By
So
something
now,
called
Ajay
the
Kumar,
Disney
fact of the
It's not
matter
your
is there
fault.
are
It's my
RJD
fault.
leaders, including those who've been on our panel last week, and I think you were part of a couple of those conversations, Mr. Kumar, where it was very clearly said that, well, if the left had got more seats, then maybe results would have been different. Does Congress's logic that they had the tougher seats work? And if so, whose fault is that? Should the RJD have planned this better?
नहीं, मुझे लगता है कि आप टोटलिटी में देखने की जरूरत है। कांग्रेस की जो आप देखिएगा 90 से लेके और अभी तक उसका वोट परसेंटेज लगातार गिरता रहा है। मुझे दो बातें कहनी है। एक तो इलेक्शन के ठीक बाद जैसे ही टिकट का बंटवारा शुरू हुआ तो कांग्रेस में टिकट को खरीद फरोख्त के आरोप लगे। पहली बात। दूसरी बात कि अभी 2 दिन पहले सदाकत आश्रम में लेजिस्लेटिव पार्टी का कौन होगा लीडर, इसको लेकर 2 लोग आपस में वहां हंगामा करने लगे। तो मुझे लगता है कि कांग्रेस और तीसरी बात कि परसेप्शन पॉलिटिक्स में बहुत बड़ी चीज होती है। आप उस परसेप्शन को जो कांग्रेस की वो जो बोल रही है उनके पॉइंट्स वैलिड हो सकते हैं, लेकिन आपकी बात लोग क्यों नहीं सुन रहे हैं? आपने कभी सोचा बिहार में कौन आपका फेस होगा जो आगे ले जाए आपकी चीजों को, जो काउंटर कर सके, आपके जो विरोधी पक्ष है उसको काउंटर कर सके, लोगों के बीच जाए? वो नहीं दिख पाया। तीसरी बात कि जो भी कांग्रेस के लोग आए, शिवानंद तिवारी ठीक है, मनोज झा ने उसको ये कर दिया कि ऑफिशियल वो हमारे बयान नहीं है, वो शिवानंद तिवारी का पर्सनल बयान है। लेकिन आप ऐसे देखिए कि आरजेडी के भीतर सारे लोग बोल रहे हैं कि कांग्रेस बिल्कुल हम लोगों के लिए एक बोझ की तरह है। तो ये आपको एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ेगा जो परफॉर्मेंस है उसके आधार पर। और जब तक आप इस रियलाइजेशन में नहीं जाएंगे, मुझे लगता है कि आप जो असली वजह है आप वहां तक नहीं पहुंच पाएंगे। तारिक अनवर ने भी बीच में ये सवाल उठाया था अभी 2 दिन पहले। तो ये है कि बहुत सारी चीजें जो परसेप्शन के लिहाज से चलती हैं। आप राहुल गांधी आए यहाँ 6 मीटिंग किए, 5 या 6, मोदी आके 12 मीटिंग करते हैं। तो कहीं ना कहीं ये अपील भी है लोगों में कि भाई वो अपनी बात आके रखते हैं। आपकी ओर से कौन जा रहा है? जो लोग आए या तो राज्यपाल से यहाँ मिले पटना में, मेमोरेंडम दिए, या फिर प्रेस बयान या प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस किए। इसके अलावा कितनी रैलियों में आप साथ गए? आपका ज्वाइंट एफर्ट क्या रहा? तो इस पर्सपेक्टिव में देखने की जरूरत है कांग्रेस को, मुझे लगता है।
ठीक है। Supriya, do you want to respond to that before I bring in Sarika?
I mean, obviously, I will only say that it's not as if we've been sitting with our hands on our haunches and doing nothing about it. I mean, we were there out campaigning. Please also realize when you fight in a coalition, there are some votes that you transfer to them and some that they transfer to you. Our coalition that's how coalitions work. That's the coalition dharma. To now say that the Congress did nothing, we did not campaign, we were just sitting and doing press conference, I think it's a little too unkind. I'm not going to I personally believe that politicians should spar off with each other and not with journalists. They are here with opinions. I respect their right to have an opinion. I may disagree with them. I don't want to refute him. I think if a BJP person had said that, I would strongly refute it.
Let me also bring in Sarika of the RJD. Sarika, is there a thought process within the party today that perhaps if you had done your seat allocation differently, given lesser number of seats to actually the Congress party and more to the left, you would have won more? Because that seems to be what many of the spokesperson on our show seem to be saying right now. I just want to also quickly point out to the comments that have been made. Look at the strike rate of our political leaders who held their rallies. Prime Minister Modi, NDA won in 9 out of the 12 seats where Prime Minister Modi campaigned. Rahul Gandhi, Mahagathbandhan won in 3 out of the 8 seats where Rahul Gandhi campaigned. Effectively, the number of rallies itself is a different matter, but I'm simply talking about the strike rate. And if you see the strike rate that the Congress party has registered, not just in this election, but in Maharashtra, in Uttar Pradesh, even in the previous elections in Tamil Nadu, it's the same problem. Why the allies later on make this point perhaps goes to show that in the statistics, the strike rate for the Congress party has become a problem. Sarika, good evening to you. If you can hear me, क्या ये thought process है within the party कि शायद हमने कांग्रेस को ज़्यादा सीटें दे दी लड़ने के लिए?
नहीं तन्वी, ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है। हमारे नेता ने पहले ही दिन आकर के कहा था कि ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है, क्योंकि जब लोग हार जाते हैं तो बहुत सारी बातें बनानी शुरू करते हैं। बट हमने उसे आकर के बिल्कुल क्लियर किया था। हमारे नेता तेजस्वी यादव जी ने क्लियरली कहा था कि महागठबंधन की जितने भी हमारे घटक दल हैं उन सबों ने पूरी मेहनत की। ये अलग बात है कि रिजल्ट जो भी निकल के आया और उसको लेकर के लोग लगातार, हमारे विपक्षी दल के लोग जो है वो लगातार ब्लेम कर रहे हैं कांग्रेस को, लेकिन हमारे तरफ से हमने कभी भी कांग्रेस को ब्लेम नहीं किया, क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि हमारे गठबंधन में हम सारे दलों ने बहुत मेहनत की थी। सीट चाहे जो भी आया हो, लेकिन जो एक संगठन का नियम होता है, जो एक विचारधारा होती है, जो सिद्धांत होती है, उन सिद्धांतों और विचारधारा पे हम महागठबंधन के तमाम लोगों ने लड़ी थी और अच्छी हमने फाइट भी दी। आपने देखा होगा जो सीटों का आप बहुत ज्यादा अंतर नहीं है, एनडीए और महागठबंधन की जो सीटों का अंतर है वो महज 10-12 सीटों का ही है। और वो अंतर भी इसलिए है क्योंकि लास्ट में जो वोटिंग की प्रक्रिया में जो कुछ
शिवानंद तिवारी जो कह रहे हैं वो क्यों कह रहे हैं,
बात कर रहे थे,
और अजय कुमार जो एक वरिष्ठ पत्रकार है वो यहाँ पे बैठ के कह रहे हैं कि पार्टी के अंदर बहुत लोग यही व्यू रखते हैं, तो क्यों रखते हैं?
नहीं, ऐसी बात नहीं है। पार्टी के अंदर ऐसे कोई नहीं है जो सब लोगों ने ऐसी व्यू रखे हैं। हो सकता है कि कुछ एक लोग या दो लोग हैं जो अपने पर्सनल थॉट है जो बाहर निकल रहा है उनका, लेकिन उस पर कोई भी आधिकारिक रूप में हम पुष्टि नहीं कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि मैं ऑथराइज्ड स्पोक पर्सन हूँ पार्टी की और मैं उन बातों पे और उनके स्टेटमेंट को मैं नकार रही हूँ। लेकिन मैं जानती हूँ कि हमारे नेता के द्वारा या अंदरूनी जो बातें हैं, ऐसी कहीं कोई बात नहीं है। अभी हम लोग बिल्कुल यूनाइट हैं, हम लोग जुड़े हुए हैं, और ये तमाम बातें जो जिस तरह की निकल के बाहर आ रही है, कुछ लोग बोल रहे हैं जरूर, तो ये उनका अपना पर्सनल थॉट है और उस पे हमारी आधिकारिक रूप से कोई पुष्टि हम नहीं कर रहे हैं उसको।
Sudesh Verma wants to make a point.
Yeah, I want to make many points. First of all, I'll talk about what Supriya ji said, because we want the right message to go. You cannot say that BJP is a dynastic party. You gave so many examples. They have, all the children of politicians have the right to become politicians, but they have to work very hard. But tell me, who can become the BJP president? From Vajpayee ji onwards, you can see. From Balraj Madhok, you can see. Have you ever seen a dynast becoming BJP president? Who knew that Amit Shah ji would become president? Who knew that JP Nadda ji would become president? So this is what decides whether the party believes in dynasty or not. It is not about some children of some politician contesting here and there. In Bihar also, in this ministry formation, can you say there is a dynasty ministry? You can't say that. So these are the examples that set standards for you in public life. Now coming to, you see, we want
today an official of the
hold on. Why are you agitating now? You are asking me not to get agitated. Please listen to me, Supriya. I have not completed. That rule applies to you also. I was listening to you.
Answer a simple question.
1 minute, please. 1 minute, please. 1 minute. One at a time. One at a time. Ladies, if you just let Sudesh Verma finish, I will come back to both of you.
Your standard I'm applying
One
to
at
you.
a time, please. One at a time. I think,
Tanvi,
Supriya, I made it very clear. And I did not allow Sudesh Verma to interrupt when you were talking, Supriya. Let him make his point, and then Sarika, I will come to you and Supriya both.
I did not speak.
Yes.
Now coming to the point of Mr. Rahul Gandhi, we actually want the Congress to be strong. Why? Because the national party has a national vision. We may not agree with that vision, but we can at least debate and people can decide which party to vote. If you have regional party everywhere and the Congress becomes zero, then we have a problem. That many of the regional parties don't have a national vision. They may not have opinion on every national issue facing the country. So there would be a crisis. But Congress to become strong, Rahul Gandhi ji will have to become matured in politics, not party. He believes in parties. If he believes in party, takes it seriously. There has to be a full-time occupation for him, isn't it? It's not just part-time that you come, jump, do some campaign, go back, start partying, then come back again. This is not Western country. It's a very serious issue in this country. People watch you and you build your party brick by brick. This is what happens with this is what happened with the BJP, isn't it? This is how we came to power.
Supriya Srinath.
You know, don't give me a lecture on how the party is built from brick
Not
to
to
brick.
you. I'm
We
not
respect the fact
arguing
that
with you. Sorry. I'm not giving a lecture. Sorry. I'm addressing people
Thank you.
who are watching you and me both.
Okay, great. Since there's so many people who are watching us and getting political lessons from you and me, let me also add my 2 bits.
No, I'm not
We've
giving
also
political
seen how
lectures.
you
I'm
how
a
you took from
spokesperson.
two parties.
Giving perspective of my party on issues.
Okay, let her make her point, yes.
I don't backchat and I will not speak over anybody else. If you want to make many more points, please go ahead. I'm giving you my time as well, but please don't speak while
you
I'm
are doing
speaking.
that.
That's not how
You are doing that.
civilized debates are done. Please keep quiet, Mr. Verma. I extend the same courtesy that I extended to you, even though you spoke a lot of
Did you?
things that I disagree with very strongly. The reality is that if you can only answer one question for me, that the names that I gave may not be party presidents today, but why are they elected representatives today? Why are they the only ones who are getting ticket? Why is Kalyan Singh governor and his son a minister and his grandson an MLA? You will have answers. So let's not get into that debate. Let's talk about real issues. And the real issues before this country today are joblessness, number 1 to 10. Then there is national security, the Chinese incursion. There is a crumbled economy that Tanvi Shukla will know a lot about, because in a avatar she used to cover economy very. Why don't you talk on these issues? Why is the debate on, mundane issues like this? Why are we not discussing issues of national importance? Why is it that you run up and we raise these questions? Why is it that the Prime Minister tells them there will be no Chinese incursion? The Defense Ministry then has to defend it. The MEA has to defend it. A report is put on the website and withdrawn. Why? Answer this question for me. And answer one very simple question for me. How many years of Ranji cricket did Jay Shah play to become a BCCI official? That's all I want to do.
Jayasha is not a political person. He is a private individual. Talk about politicians.
How has he become the BCCI official? You may have been a private.
He will tell you. You ask him. No. Ask the people who elect BCCI secretary and president. Why are you asking me?
Okay. All right.
Who decides ticket distribution?
Coming back to politics, cricket and cricket administration can be debated another day. Coming back to politics, I have very less time. Allow me please to very quickly go across to Dinesh Vashi, who wanted to make a point, and then to Ajay Kumar in the end. Yes, Dinesh.
Look, Tanvi, there is an attempt by the BJP and the Modi ji to see to it that the opposition alliance do not happen, because they know that till now they are surviving because of division of votes. Our attempt is to save the country in communal harmony, to save the country democratic values and constitution of India. The opposition parties should unite, all democratic and progressive forces should unite and fight against the fascistic tendencies happening under the leadership of Modi ji. As far as Sudesh Verma, this saying is that Dadda had become president, I challenge Sudesh Verma ji, can any minister or can any MP contradict in the meeting of the parliamentary board to Mr. Modi or to Amit Shah? They cannot. They cannot. The minister's file cannot go independently out of the minister room. It has to go through the Prime Minister's office.
Very accommodative.
You are not allowed to apply your independent mind. Don't tell us. We live in Delhi. We live in Delhi, Sudesh Verma, and we know everything.
Okay.
I am much better.
Honestly, Dinesh Varshney, as much as you would love to ask questions of how the BJP party functions eternally, fact of the matter is that the debate tonight was actually about how the Congress party functions, and so do some of its allies now, because the people have made their message very clear. The people have cast their vote in the state of Bihar, and they have made it very clear. Why Bihar? Look at the results of the bypolls that have come from 11 other states, and the message is very clear. Exactly what we saw last year during general elections. Yes, the BJP has had a tougher time in some of the state elections, but the tougher task is for the opposition parties. And the tougher task will be for any of those parties who seek to ally with the Congress. It needs a lot more sharp planning, sharper arithmetic, sharper political thinking. At the end of the day, you are taking on Narendra Modi, Amit Shah combined together. The preparations from the BJP's end have already begun for West Bengal and Assam, even in Tamil Nadu. Where is the Congress party? Where is the Congress party's leadership? Who's going to lead them? in these state elections, the mega surround of state elections that's going to happen in 2021? Are they even ready to acknowledge what's happened in Bihar? Their own performance that simply piggybacked on Tejasvi Yadav and his popularity. Are they ready to sit now and talk about accountability, planning, grassroots campaigning, leaders who will be appointed for these places, for these states? Because if they don't start now, then they will have a tough time. And the onus will be on their so-called friends right now, whether they actually want to join hands and risk their own political fortunes in the upcoming elections. Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation.